Hey yo, what up? And you're welcome to the new traffic vlog. Yeah, so welcome to our new space. You see, now we are locked in. I know we've been waiting for us for a long time. We're back and we're here. So, you know how we do it. Run over to our YouTube page, like, subscribe, and share our posts. And if you're out there and you've not subscribed, go there and click the subscribe button now. See you. God love you.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Um, it's been God knows how long since we had an episode like this, and it definitely feels like this is the first time I'm doing it. But not to be super excited, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has always checked up on the traffic vlog and those who supported me and found their way to always remind me about the traffic vlog and bring me back here. As you can see, this is a new space.
Cheers.
Glory to God. Glory to God. And yeah, this is our new studio. I know it's a bit here and there, but we'll get there. At least for a start, we try. Heading on to today's episode, today we'll be discussing, as you always know, as you already know, rather, we discuss what troubles your mind, and so both societally, financially, relationshipically, there's a word like that. Discuss what
Relationship
troubles your
Ikali.
mind. And on today's trouble, we'll be talking about a popular topic, and I'll be discussing this topic called religion with your favorite guest, Captain Jack.
I
What's good?
swear. Should be favorite by now.
It
If it's not a favorite, so we discard some people.
should be a household name by
I
now.
swear, it's a household name.
What's good now? What's
I'm
happening?
active, oh, bro. I'm active. Even me, I'm like, Omo, it's supposed on the ask, see where these guys dey. Like, where these guys are supposed to come up now. So, yeah, we're back. It's been a while.
Yeah,
You see, new space to active. Traffic vlog ain't playing, man.
at
Ain't
all. We're
playing.
back on active.
Yeah.
So talk. Let before we let's have a little chit chat.
Yeah.
How's it going with the music P, and are we expecting any music anytime soon?
Man, hopefully. So yeah, the music paying, although it's been a bit off and on, but yeah, I'm actively working to put something out. I've been linking up with a few guys, BGV Records, BJ
Shout out to
Keys.
Blessing and Good Vibes Records. It's going,
Yeah, so hopefully, but yeah, let's just keep our fingers crossed
but definitely this year.
by the special grace of God.
So if you haven't listened to Chasing Bosses Catching Dreams, make sure you go on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, enter my mouth.
Maybe we'll put it on Apple Podcast. But
Apple
yeah, do
Music.
check it out.
Make sure you check it out. It's fire. It's fire. Like I
Too
always tell
fire.
you, my main song there is Focus
Gotta
and
stay focused, bro.
100%. 2026. Stay
Focus.
focused, active. So on today's topic, we're talking about religion,
Yeah.
and it's been a very popular topic.
Controversial,
And
yeah.
it feels like this year, safe now this year, it's become popular pass. And I don't even know why. Like
Yeah.
because religion has always been there.
Always. Always.
But for you now, as a Nigerian,
Yeah.
what would you say about religion in Nigeria? How it is practiced, how it is seen, and how it is just in general. What would you
Okay.
say?
So from my point of view, I think I want to keep it based on Nigeria.
Mm,
We line religion almost on the same tab as we line tradition.
okay.
So yeah, just like the way people come up, no, just like the way you have people that are Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa
Mm.
religion. So
Okay.
it's like when you're a Yoruba, they expect that okay, you dobale, you prostrate,
Mm,
all of that. They are traditions that Yoruba go the language and like that. Then when you're Hausa, you have your traditions that you follow. When you're Igbo, like that.
mm.
I mean, that same thing goes on with religion. So religion now ideally should be a concept on its own, like it's outside the scope of tradition. But
Okay.
what we have in Nigeria is Yoruba religion, Hausa religion,
Are you saying
Igbo
that
religion.
religion is having its way into tribe? Are you saying there are
I'm
so many?
saying they have fixing tradition into religion. So
Okay.
now I could say the way Yorubas express religion is different from the way Hausas
Express.
express
Okay.
religion
Within the same religion.
within the same religion.
Okay.
So yeah, you could have, now let me give you a typical example. Now religion has a, like I said, should have a concept on its own. But based on certain tribes, someone can come and say, oh, you shouldn't dress like this. When you dress
Mm-hmm.
like this, wear agbada now, wear
Okay.
kini now when you're coming.
Mm.
And like that, if you go to a certain Igbo setup to be like, tie your wrapper now, or
Okay.
wear your cap, all
I
that
think
kind of thing.
rapper is a thing for the Igbos. Okay.
But you get, so that one too, and then they bring it to a certain structure into as much as how you should look, how you should come, you know.
But would you say, in the way it's being practiced and based on the tradition, would you
Mm,
say religion as a whole has done to Nigeria as a country and its
yeah.
people? Do you think religion has done more harm than good?
Well, as a country as a whole,
Looking at both sides, what do you think? Do you think if you weigh the good to the bad,
uh,
one outshines the other?
but I can't say for sure because it still has its effects irrespective of all of this, right?
Mm,
You know, the church, the institution of religion as a whole,
mm,
all of the worship places, they still have their effects in all of the country as a whole. Because in as much as people go to work, they still find need to go to a place of worship.
okay.
So yeah, so I cannot say there is a harm and there's more harm than good or there's more good than harm.
But
So
okay, but do you think we have a religion problem in Nigeria?
we do have a religion problem.
We do
However,
or we don't?
we do have a religion
Okay.
problem. However, so let's say I would say the understanding we have on religion is based on what have been passed on to us. How do I mean? So I mean, we come by the time we even start, choosing a particular line of religion, you have that, oh, this is the church that my parents are going to. That's where you are going to go to.
Mm.
When you get there, there's a certain structure that have come in that denomination of religion that you have. So let's say follow a certain structure, how they dress, how they move. Like I can say, if I say certain examples now, if you see people that are always moving, they prefer to always move around and teach. You know what
Yeah.
aspect of religion is that? There are people that say, oh, we like to keep our dressing very, very proper.
Mm.
Everything, no extras. There are certain structures,
Uh,
and then there are others that even coming up and like, come as you are. We're not looking at others. So
but with that so many. Okay, we are both Christians, so
yeah,
we will talk on what we understand, what we see. We won't talk on about Muslims. So we'll still dive into that.
okay.
But why do we have so many diverse understand? I won't say understanding diverse.
Denomination. Use denomination.
Okay, each denomination have their own doctrine.
Yeah,
But why is it that there are so many different
and denominations, right?
denominations and doctrine
Yeah,
to one being up there?
exactly. So that's exactly the topic of discussion, right? Because
Would you say it's part of the problem? The diversity, because I feel like Nigeria's problem is due to the fact of there are so many tribes. If we probably just had one tribe, we probably have more unity than. So
maybe.
would you also say that the fact that there are so many doctrines out there, that's part of the reasons why religion might be seen as a problem?
Yes, I want to agree that because of the diversity, I would say I agree because now I could be in a certain doctrine today,
Mm,
and that doctrine is fully focused on faith.
mm,
And you become so grounded in the concept of faith that you start to get the areas, the understanding that have to deal with faith. Then say you change location and you go to a different, say you get to change doctrine and you start
mm.
worshiping somewhere else. And then the focus there now is about prosperity.
Okay.
Now you're no longer in that
A
line of,
faith-based
yeah, so
person.
you're not like that faith foundation
Yeah,
is there
it's
quite
there.
all right. But now
Okay.
you're being exposed to a different concept.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
While that could be a two-edged sword that it moves you from level to level. So what now you're exposed to is the concept of that prosperity doctrine.
Mm.
Yeah. Then if you do move again now, then you get exposed to a different one that focused on heaven and hell. So all of that diverse nature of doctrine is why people now choose that this is the one I want to go and hear,
Okay.
or this is the one that is speaking to me, or this is the one I feel comfortable with. Let me use the word comfortable because like, oh, that's the message I want to hear.
Mm.
Whereas all of those messages, if you combine them, they're still one message that
Okay.
is spread across, the world. That's the Bible that we work with. It's spread
Mm.
across the Bible itself. So why I say that diverse doctrine is also part of what affects us is we now start selecting the ones that work with us. Say example now, says a particular doctrine comes up and says,
Let
what
me give you
example?
one. Talking about doctrine. There was a time Jehovah Witness didn't allow transfusion of blood, right?
Exactly. So examples like that now, that's why I said that's why I started with most of what we have in denominations now are based on what has been passed down
Mm.
by one person or
Okay.
a group of people. Now, the concept of that would have been someone that received or started that doctrine said, oh, we don't believe in this. So all of the people that come in and join would not believe in it.
But to have okay, now would you say that doctrine, right,
Yeah,
has also helped in damaging the country? The widespread of doctrines as well. Because if you look at this Jehovah Witness, take for example, right?
yeah,
Now they've come out to say, okay, now you can take blood transfusion.
yeah.
What happened to the people that died believing that
They couldn't
your
take
doctrine
blood
would save them?
transfusion. Yeah. So
I think
I
that that's also the basis why Showore also said that the evil that church has done is more than the evil that we see.
well, it's not enough to conclude that it is fine. It could as well be addressed as a point of
Let me not
wrong
say church,
decisions,
religion. Sorry, let me not.
wrong decisions, or misguided decisions. But it doesn't add up to the problem. In fact, it does not even sum up to a fraction of the country's problem.
But it's part.
It could be part.
Okay.
I say could be because these are individual decisions that people make. When you go to school, I'm not to digress too far, but when
Okay.
you go to school and they teach us social studies, maths, English, they are teaching all of us the same thing
Mm,
across all classrooms. If I come to nursery one, they will teach me the same thing. If I leave,
mm.
if another person comes to nursery one, they'll teach him the same thing, right? But it is different. So the whole that thing that we are taught is what we all know generally across each person. So if there's a failure on that educational part, it affects all of us. Now we can say there's a problem with the educational system, right?
Mm.
Do you get? But in the aspect of doctrine, the doctrine is telling me that this is a particular thing that we believe in nursery one. So if they go to nursery two are not doing the same thing. Now I cannot now attribute the failure of nursery one as a result of
It just blows my brain. Just it blows my brain. Because literally, you don't carry me go nursery, goes, oh boy. Where will you go actually?
okay, well, in summary, I'm saying that we cannot count the doctrines of religion as a part of the country's problem. It is only if, in fact, it's not even up to a fraction.
But you believe that there's a religion problem in Nigeria.
Yes, there's a religion problem which affects the religion body.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, part of this religion problem, I think, is the fact that we as Nigerians,
Mm,
now I'm talking of church, mosque, tradition, blah 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 blah.
yeah.
We as Nigerians fear questioning because I feel the time where you question certain actions from
Yes.
your religious leaders, they
Yes.
tend to, you know,
Yeah.
since they know that we are going to be questioned, they would act, they would do the
Yeah.
right thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why do you think we as Nigerians, because I see it so many times, so many times, why do you think that everything your religious leader does is yes and amen? Like why?
Okay. So, in my opinion, that's what will bring me back to that where I said tradition has been inducted into religion.
Hmm.
Now, in tradition, you cannot speak back to your elder.
Okay.
Fine, it is a moral conduct scope, but
Please, I think Nigerians are more religious than morally inclined. I think we don't have morals, but we are very,
religious.
yes.
And now we have tied that religiousness
Mm.
to moral.
Okay. We now think that if you are religious, you have the morals.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'm now saying. That tradition, they've now inducted tradition into religion.
Mm.
So when you don't do a certain thing that is in line with the tradition, you now be like, you are not respectful. You're not you're not
Okay.
respectful. You're not a good Christian.
Yeah. Okay, so by the time you're saying that by the time you question religious leaders, you are tend to you have there's tendency that you're taken as
As this a
dishonest,
or a this
disloyal
or a
follower.
this you get. So it's like, this
But
guy
should it be
has
so?
no.
Because I'm trying to look back and I think, well, let's be like, should it be so?
That's what I'm saying, that it shouldn't be. Now look at a typical example, right? I'm going to use myself as an example. So growing up, I just naturally like to keep my hair on fro, right?
Mm.
Like not cut it, let the whole thing just keep growing. Now when my hair grows to a certain point, they'll be like, this is not how good boys, keep the hair. And
That's not a good boy movement.
it starts with good boy. Then if you do not listen to them, because I do not immediately like
Yeah.
go. So the next thing is, um, are you even listening to what the teacher in church?
I feel like that as the first line of attack when
Yeah.
parents want to come at you.
And I'm like, okay, oh, fine. In as much as it would may, but this should have nothing to do with, my expression or my belief to the religion, right? So if my hair being in a certain way goes against the religious concepts,
Mm.
then that means there are several other things that could be attached to it that I might be doing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that on its own is because there's a tradition that, I'm saying there's a tradition. I'm never attributing it to any tribe now, that when you keep low cut, you are a responsible person. When you cut your hair, and people that keep hair and do style are bad boys. So now they bring that same tradition into religion and like, oh no, you cannot look like this. This is how
Sure.
you have to look.
Okay.
But should that have anything to do with
I don't.
your
I
religion?
think that was a Nigerian problem. They look at you based on how.
Exactly. Even to be defensive, because sometimes I just be defensive and I'll be defensive and I'll be like, but there are people in other country that have hair naturally and they are longer, and the next thing you hear is, you're not in that
You're not,
country.
but you're not actually in that country. Sha.
So that means now it takes me now that so that means that if I leave this country and I take this lifestyle to another country,
Mm.
it means it is accepted there in their tradition, right?
Yeah.
So it won't affect their religion.
Yeah.
So now what now makes it a different concept
The
here?
way it now feels like the religion we practice here is different from what is being
That's
practiced
what
there.
I'm telling you now, that they've mixed religion with the tradition.
Okay.
So almost every tradition practiced here has now been imbibed with religion.
Okay.
So that's what makes it feel like, I'm telling you, it goes even as basic as, if you come or if you go with it's so basic to how you dress.
Mm.
Just how you dress, and people, I'm saying certain people just be like, oh, that one no fit be church boy.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
I
So
feel. I
and
mean, because I've been through that
exactly. So though
stereotyping.
it could just be, oh, that one no fit be church boy.
Mm.
Whereas that should not be our focus.
Yeah,
Our
yeah.
focus should be on what exactly does we should be asking questions like, what exactly does our religion expect from us?
Mm.
When they say, oh, serve with all your might or your soul and all your body or your mind, what is the expectation? It shouldn't be
But in their defense, they would say that if you're a true Christian,
mm,
you would want to portray. So maybe they think that that dressing does not portray the a good view of
yes. So
Christianity
you
or
exactly,
religious religion.
because again, you are dressed the
You
way,
are the
and
address.
what is that? It's a tradition based
Basically, what you're
concept.
doing now is defending and also supporting.
No, I'm not defending. You address the way you are addressed is not a concept that started in religion. It's
Okay,
a
okay,
concept that
okay, okay,
started
okay. A tradition.
generally in, I'm going to say tradition because it's a world concept.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so now if you are using that same concept as in the religion, I'm not even saying dress improper to church, right? Or to
But let
um
there be free will to put on what you want.
not free will. It shouldn't be a mix on what makes you a religious person and what does not.
Okay, okay, okay. It should not be something they used to,
Yes. So all of that now is what has mixed up our concept of religion, right from the outlook to the diversity of messages and difference in denominations. Now, I'm not even going as far as several denominations that also have uniforms, um, certain structures to their service and all of that. So all of that diversity now has, spread different concept of religion in the country generally.
But moving forward, right
Mm,
now that we would agree that um, Nigerians should question, right,
yeah,
and not be seen as disloyal or not.
as you know,
Do you suggest that Nigerians should actually question actions, like, because if you say so, let me not let that next question out. But would you say going forward,
yeah,
Nigerians should question religious leaders and hold them accountable for every action that they take, and not just accept that Papa don't do am,
yes,
Papa is right.
yes. So you should, because you are supposed to. And again, my starting basis for all of this is everything that, okay, maybe not everything, but most of the things that we know and understand as a religion is what was passed to us, right?
From tradition.
From time. Like there was a certain person that started it up to
Okay.
the next person added his own, he passed it, the next person too added and
Okay.
passed
Okay.
based
Okay.
on his own inspiration,
Mm.
right? So now, based on their own inspiration, what I mean now is if I am made a certain head over a denomination,
Mm.
how that denomination would respond now will be based on how
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah.
I'm not be like, oh, you guys can keep your hair here.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You
Okay. Okay.
can
Okay.
come with as you are, you know, let's go in this direction.
Okay.
So you get, now those people would go in that direction. Why?
Mm.
Because that is what I'm now bringing to them. You
Okay.
get,
Okay. Okay.
so
Okay.
all of that is based on people's own inspiration to us. Now why you should question is based on those, or based on that inspiration, go by yourself, seek for yourself. Yeah, don't just question out of, oh, you heard something and then you're saying. Now before you question, have an understanding of what you're questioning.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So if there are certain topics or certain discussions that you find like, oh, I don't agree or I don't think this should be an issue now,
Mm.
seek and see, okay, what exactly does the religious basis say about this? Then go back and question your religious leaders that, okay, well, based on my finding, this is what I understand here. And I feel like it is different from how you express it. So
Okay.
can we, or can you put me
True.
on, yeah, on why you think it is like that and why
Okay.
mine is like this and how we can now come to the middle.
So you're saying that we shouldn't just we shouldn't just question randomly.
No,
We should have an understanding
you
before
should have an
questioning.
understanding before questioning.
Which leads me to my next question,
Okay.
which is a very popular question, I would say.
Yeah.
As at during Jonathan's time,
Yeah.
the Khan, right, Christian Association of Nigeria,
Yeah.
I would think, you know, charged the protest, which had many religious leaders at the
Yeah.
forefront, holding placards and all of that.
Yeah.
My question now is, why do members of these religious leaders, frown at questions being thrown at these religious leaders now that we are facing much more worse situation in a
Yeah.
different tenure? Personally, I always feel like, this speed don't happen,
Yeah.
right? Rather than you going back and forth and arguing, let's just look
Mm.
forward,
How
because the
to
questions will
resolve
always come, and once you're in that public space, you must always face
either.
it.
Yeah.
So I'm asking, do you think it's okay for them to, like, let's say you ask a question, I'm giving you back to you that God's wrath to be on you. I'm just trying to question an action.
Yeah.
Why do you think they see it that way?
So that's why I said that I don't even want to keep bouncing on the tradition thing, but that's why I said that there is a that tradition.
Okay, would you say it's okay? Would you say the criticism on this religious, because if you go on the internet, it's
Yeah,
a lot
it's
there.
it's
Would you
steady.
say the criticism on these religious leaders are is or are justified?
For one, it's not justified.
Is it the approach or the
The
question?
approach definitely.
Okay.
The approach definitely, because if you have a problem with a certain pay, it's not enough to just go there and say, "Oh, we know sabi work. Now rubbish in the
Shall we say
speak.
I
Now rubbish in the speak. No be this man. Organa lie." Because and most of those responses are probably from you saw someone's tweet, you saw another person's tweet, and then you saw what
Yeah, yeah,
someone
yeah.
put on a headline. You put all of it together, and then the next thing, organa lie, organa. But you should be able to, like you said now, you should be able to say, so what's changed now from how you reacted to, this
Mm,
experience in certain times and how you're responding to it in this
yeah,
time.
yeah.
So, we expect that there should be certain energy or
Yeah.
reasons why this is going in this direction or
People would say that why there's no energy right
mm,
now is because it's, I'm quoting what people are saying. Please
better just
don't.
add allegedly.
Okay, I'm saying what I see on the internet. Allegedly,
Yeah.
people are saying that it's because this government could, in one way, be benefiting them. So, which because personally, right? This now
Mm,
this is my own opinion. Personally, it does not make sense
okay.
because we haven't facing much more targeted, Christian. I won't say
Yeah.
Christian. I'll say religious genocide
Yeah,
in,
yeah,
in, in
yeah.
Nigeria, and it seems like everyone is just,
Taking it and moving on.
yeah. And now, if you realize, if you leave the council, they won't deny say, my question here is, why do you think they are not giving out the same energy as they gave
Energy
out as
rise.
at then? Or was it or did you think the religion that we have in Nigeria now is being politicized?
Hmm. Well, for that one,
Go far.
is right. Because if you ask me, I would ask the same because there is a certain what's it called now? There's a certain ah, words are fail me, but yeah, there's a certain response that you would expect
Mm,
that we are not getting currently. Like there's a total
mhm.
quietness. So now we don't now, or I cannot now say if it is as a result of, oh, they don't want to involve themselves again. The
Yeah.
last involvement led to this, led to that. Or if there is a benefit, who wouldn't know? But then, yes, there's that quietness. And that's what is raising all of this
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
suspiciousness and, oh, what could be and what could be not. For that, I would
We
just
leave,
say,
leave them to God. We leave them to God.
almost, it's them and themselves because if we say really, ideally, religious organizations should have a hand in to play when it comes to, affairs of the nation generally, not just
Yes,
governments now. Affairs of the nation generally. Why? Because religious activities are also
I'll tackle you on that because I've
okay.
had a conversation with. I'm struggling hard not to mention a particular church, but I've had a
Mm,
conversation with a religious person, and the person was sleeping. The person defense like pastors pray, doctors heal, like whatever, doctors treat,
yeah,
lawyers defend. So now you saying that they should have a say
yeah.
in political matters. Doesn't that also define within, or are we not having multiple
And exactly
ideas
that's why I said
or
in
multiple
my
views?
point, religious organization or institutions
Okay, in your own
should,
opinion.
yes,
Okay, should okay,
should
okay.
have. It is like you are in a if you're in a students group, what are the students fighting for? Your
Mm,
rights as
yeah,
students
yeah,
now.
yeah.
So if there's a situation where the religious body is affected,
Yeah, yeah,
then the
yeah.
religious
They should
body
they should be able
should,
to speak.
yeah, should speak that look at what is happening to
Mm,
members of our organizations,
organization.
and we cannot stand for it. So it is to, you know stand up for it. Then if you're now standing up to, if it's the government is the problem, you stand up to the government. If it is a certain organization, you stand up and say, oh no, we cannot keep taking this. So yeah, that's what I would expect for the religious body. But what we have now is the religious body themselves seem to be pulling themselves out of, you know political
Mm,
matters, and like, oh, they shouldn't have anything to do with us. We are this and they are that. But the whole thing affects everybody,
mm,
and the members in the religious body are also people of under the government. So you cannot just say that the government are the ones in charge of that, let them handle it. We will keep, doing our religious activities for our people, whereas all of us are still facing the consequences of these actions. So in summary, it is or should be the responsibility
of
of,
the religious organization.
yes.
My next question, or I totally agree with you, right? I
Mm,
feel like it's just unfair.
yeah,
And their silence is the reason why,
all
you
of
know,
these
all of this drama
backlashes
is
are,
happening,
yeah,
right? And my question would be, do you think, um, in my opinion, I
yeah,
think Christianity is about hope and faith,
yeah,
right? It's about hope and faith. Now, would you say, due to that understanding, that because people would also I've told people, like I've had this conversation, and they said no, it's not about hope and faith, there's more to it, but I'm still saying that at the end goal is to have faith in
yeah,
this, that one day everywhere goes soft, and that's still hope. Now would you say that the fact that it is built on that, for my own opinion,
mm,
for my own opinion the fact that Christianity or religion is built on that hope, would you say that that is the reason why it feels like churches or religion,
yeah,
mosque, are weaponizing poverty for their own personal gain, just as politicians are doing? Because it is out of poverty you find the most dangerous hope. It is in the midst of poverty you find the most dangerous hope. So, and that's the same thing politicians do. They weaponize poverty, and
most def politicians are basically, in fact,
so would you
that's
say
what they are doing.
church,
Well, for the church,
sorry for saying church, religion. I don't want to say it because I feel like both parties are doing the same thing.
well, for religious organizations, yeah, there this aspect has actually also raised conversations. We've had times where they'll be like, why is the church building expensive universities if the church members cannot attend?
I don't want to go
Or
to that
why
to
is the
that talk.
church, you know expanding the church when
Mm.
the members are, and all of that? And at the end of the day, right, it is the members. At the end of the day, right, it is the members. And while it is not entirely the church responsibility to
Sorry to coach, but I see that I don't think it makes sense to build a church that your members cannot attend. Well,
cannot attend, abi a school,
a school, so you build a school that your members cannot attend
yeah,
because
that one
It
is
just does for me. It does
that's
not align.
well. They'll say that
Ashore would say that means you are building the school for the unbelievers, whereas the believers are coming to, because at the end of the day, is the person with the thief money for, as quoting Shore in Honest
yeah,
Bunch, is people that are stealing money in government houses that will come and use that citizen money and pay school fees. Whereas the people that, through their, I don't know if through their tithe, but in his own speech,
yeah,
through their own contributions and affiliability, the school was made possible.
truly. But I think that one, if we start that conversation, we'll not leave here because
Okay,
it's a
just
very long
to go straight to the, do you think
that they are
religion
weaponizing
weaponizes
poverty.
poverty to sell the religion business? I won't say business, but to sell religion. Do you think they're weaponizing poverty?
Again, I would say because of the situation that we find ourselves, somehow it happens. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
somehow it happens. Because when you go for a service, what are you praying for? God,
Mm.
take me out of poverty.
Biko.
So when you're praying for take me out of poverty, there's always that urge to want to inspire you that, oh, these are the areas that these are the things that you can do that would
Mm.
move you out of poverty, and you in your effort to
To move out of this poverty.
move out of poverty, you put in your own effort and you strive, you do all of that. But at the end of the day, sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't.
Mm.
Because one way or how this is the way that works for this is not the way that works for, and even God's way are mysterious.
Yeah.
So that is what happens, that it comes off as, oh, the church keeps taking and taking and taking and taking and taking, and there's no giving. But that's in the whole sum of it, right? That is not the church's fault, or that is not the religious institution's fault.
Mm.
Because before a person will go to a religious institution, he has started off somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. And where did all of that start? It started from the economy of the country generally. So
Okay.
if I could, there are people that don't even go to church and are not
Yeah, yeah,
living
yeah,
large,
yeah,
and
yeah.
there are people that are not going to any of it and are living large.
Mm.
So it is as a result of exposure, how much you are connected to a source of wealth.
Mm.
If you have good job, and where does all of that stem
Captain,
from?
would you
Wait now,
agree that,
they are
yeah,
weaponizing
poverty?
poverty. No, I wouldn't say that that's what's happening.
Then what would you say it's happening?
That's what I said. It is as a result of the situation of the country we find ourselves.
Okay.
Because in the first place, if you were able to get up to a point where you started to work,
Mm.
and the country or the economy was able to fend for you,
Okay.
and each person has allocated resources to funds and all of that, or
Mm.
good jobs. Now when you go to your religious institution and you can meet all your obligations and requirements, nobody is weaponizing whether you have or do not have, because you already have. But it's because now this is the situation we find ourselves. Oh, nobody's coming to save you. It's you and God. So hustle for your life. That's how it comes off. But if it is a matter of weaponizing, no. But again, the
So
religious
are you
institutions,
saying that it's the situation of the country that makes it feel like the religion is weaponizing the
yes,
situation? So you're saying,
yes,
if
yes.
I think as a Nigerian, even if the situations happen to be better, I
Mm.
think they will still preach the same thing, the same hope, or maybe them to be, you know, more steezed.
But the number of people that are praying for basic amenities will be reduced, because you can't be praying that, oh, um,
The message of
give me
hope
job.
can never end,
Hope
regardless of how.
and hope is the religious based
What I'm saying,
concept,
as long as,
and what they are selling is not hope. I mean, what they are selling to the people
yeah, okay, okay,
to
okay, okay,
weaponize is not hope. It's their situation.
okay.
it's going to be, this is the hope, oh, it's going to be all right, it's going to be all right. And you two are saying, okay, yes, you're trying to stretch to, it's
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
be all right, it's
yeah.
going to be all right. But where you are currently now, you're not where you want to be. So you say,
Mm.
so do this so that you can get where you want to be, hopefully. But that's with your current situation.
Yeah.
So now, not even to go far, if you go to certain other same religious institutions that
Mm.
people they are not experiencing poverty, what do they weaponize there?
But I think then their speech or their topics are not really, you know, pray for this, pray for your enemy to die, pray
So
for
that's what I'm
this. I
saying.
think that
So,
I think they have a more direction to hope.
but the concept of hope there is not to weaponize their
Their
situation.
situation, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So that's what I'm telling you now, that wherever it comes up as a religious institution is weaponizing poverty or we're selling hope, no, it's because of the current situation of the
That it
people.
feels like
Yeah,
okay,
that
okay.
it comes off as, oh, you dey sell your dreams, oh, Oga, better go and fight for your life. That's not the case. Because if you now move to, that's what I'm asking, when you now move to areas where all the people there in that environment do well, so what are you selling to them? They just come, they come, they park, they hear what you have to say, they leave.
More.
If they
Okay,
like,
I think then what you be saying now is prosperous hope.
so now you're selling, you can
Okay, so
sustain.
there's survival hope, there's God abeg hope, and ahead.
So that's how it comes up. But the concept of this hope, where you mean, is not particular to where we find ourselves or
Okay.
where we are currently, because what the salvation that that was sold was for outside the earth.
Mm.
So everything that you are fighting for on the earth is for your own personal use,
Okay,
personal
personal,
gain.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if
yeah.
someone is selling you hope that no way one day you go make am, you go
Mm,
ball,
mm.
that's not the hope.
Okay,
The hope
okay.
that the religion is selling to you, that one day there comes a time where you do not have to face all of this,
Mm,
irrespective of where you are or who you are. Everyone gets access to peace,
mm,
joy, good life, and that's not on earth. So any form of hope that is being sold to you that is going to is going to, I don't know, whether elevate you here or take you
mm.
to a promised land here, then that's just the earthly gain.
Okay.
The hope in itself is,
Out of earth hope.
yes,
Okay, to wrap up this episode, right? Societally,
yeah,
should I use societally? Okay, let me be fair to religion. The minority of this of the society feel
yeah,
like church is becoming a business, and also it's also an avenue to hide a wrongdoing or an immoral person, right? That's where you see scandals of pastor this, pastor that,
yeah.
imam this, imam that, right? Do you think that's what's happening right now? Because that's where you hear statements like make money anyhow and you go wash am. I go wash am and maybe we go drop one heavy ties or go do one church projects or go just do
Mm,
one big thing for the community, which is usually maybe sponsor a church something or do a
yeah.
big hall in something like that. Do you think that narrative is right?
Mm, no, it's not. It's not right, because to me, where people miss it is a religious organization is in the surface just another organization,
Okay.
right? And for an organization to function, it needs people, it needs resources, and it needs time. So without any of this, it's not an
Mm,
organization. So when you come to an organization, you're going to give your time, you're going to be present, you need people to participate in what is going on, and then you also need resources. You're going to put chairs, you're going to put
mm,
table, you're going to put fan, you're going to put this. So what happens is, whether you want it or not, there will always be a form of resource needing or
mm,
resource funding or resource collecting.
Okay.
right? Because we are coming together as a group that, oh, this religious body, we are together here. So we are the ones pushing the success of this organization. And for it to function, we still have to do certain things to make sure that it is running properly. If say if we are at our base and then it starts raining and the rain is beating us,
So
who
are
is
you
suffering
saying
it?
that?
I'm saying it is not a business. It is not a business. Like every other organization, it requires all of these aspects of what an organization needs to function.
I would like to disagree. Not that I'm saying it's a business,
Mm,
but I'm saying that the amount of religious bodies now, not the organization, not the big ones, the amount of
mm,
religious, centers that are coming up,
yeah,
I think that we would have more business than truth with the amount of centers. I won't want to say body because when you say body, it looks like a very big son, but I'm saying like with the
yeah,
amount of centers and worship places that are having, I think in the long run it will be seen more as a business. Even though it is already seen now, but I think that you can still argue it. But I think in the long run it will see more than the ones that are doing that coming out just randomly will see more as a business than
yeah,
the actual truth. And why I say um it's an avenue to hide the wrong thing because lately it feels like more than the imams, though that maybe the imams are not really
yeah,
publicized, but lately these our religious leaders in churches around are having to face random scandals which shouldn't be. The other day, I'm sorry to bring this up, but the other day we had Doris with one pastor, the other one we had
mm,
this pastor who planned to use this one for
yeah.
ritual. That's why I said to an extent, it can be seen as an avenue to hide wrongdoing. I might do ritual today, and I'm telling you for real, this happens. I might do ritual today and maybe hit it big and do a big project, and this happens a lot in Catholic. Sorry to call that out, but I can do one big project and I'll be given a night. I'm telling you for real, and do one probably do one. Like I said, I'm sorry. Do one big time. Next time, I'm giving a night or giving cent something.
Yeah.
So to an extent, you can also agree that it's an avenue to hide wrongdoing, wash your money. There's no better place than doing it in church.
Okay, well, I see why you would think it's a business of sorts because, yeah, these things happen. And in as much as they are being appointed or people become religious leaders, I like to say that first of all, they are humans.
Okay.
And one way or the other, they would, usually fall short.
Mm.
And that is what keeps damaging the image of
Their
the
members don't
religious
no
body.
believe say them be humans. Yeah.
So now this is the thing, and this is the example I like to give now. Members can easily point out because they are the ones looking.
Mm.
Now they are looking at their religious leader and as an example. So when that leader falls off, they're like, oh, what was he doing? Mind you,
Yeah.
the members that are listening to the religious leader are not following the teachings
Mm.
that the religious leader keeps telling them every Sunday, right? So it is easier for members to point out when the religious leader is wrong when the members themselves are not right.
Okay, okay, I feel you.
Yeah, so it's because that's why I said the image keeps damaging because the people that are set as example keep falling short. So if it was a type of situation where everybody once you join the religious
Mm.
institution, you are made a religious leader.
Mm. I don't think that will be possible though.
If it was, then imagine the number of damage on a daily basis. So yeah, that's why I said why it usually happens like that. It is not a business. It is an institution.
Mm.
It is an organization. On the long run, they would always need
So would you agree
resources.
with me that with the amount of worship centers and religious centers
Mm,
on both sides, Protestant church, tradition, whatever, if it continues in this trajectory, it could be considered more as a business than truth. Because, bro, in this vicinity, I'm
mm,
not even saying there are more than 5 to 6 different centers, not even church, like
Yeah,
not even
yeah.
listen. So I think with as it's opening every day, it's opening like as if na POS. It's opening every day.
Well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong because um, you see, what's it called? Centers come up every day, and I'm like, okay, well, the idea to make branches closer to people, which is good, but at the same time, you see that these branches are just may not even be functioning properly
Yeah.
and are just even trying to hold up. So why all of this need to break down and break down and break down if those ones are still just going to struggle to keep up? But yeah, it happens, even when you walk up to someone today and be like, oh, I'm inviting you for the first thing they're asking, I no get oh, I don't get money. And I'm like, how is money the first thing
Well,
you are thinking about?
so
What you're being
to
invited
to an
for?
extent, are we losing the sight of the real purpose?
Exactly. So now, whenever you, the idea of going to a religious institution to for your mind or
Mm,
for yourself has somehow been flipped because whenever you now meet people and like, oh, come here, or by the time they just look at you and omo, I
this
no
guy.
get clothes to,
I
or I
feel
no
you.
get
I feel you.
shey I get money to. So all of that is what has flipped it so much that I think it somehow become too structured or too structural that it makes certain people now be like, another place where I have to package and stuff.
Mm.
So situations or scenarios like that, I will bring up this conversation of, oh, it's just another business,
Mm.
whereas that is not, or that shouldn't be the case.
Okay. Anyways, like I personally think that religion, this topic is something that you can keep talking and talking and
Truly.
talking and talking because there are so many angles to it.
Yeah.
But not to take so much of your time, thank you very much for joining us on another episode. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Pretty Boy Chief, your favorite host, and this is.
Captain Jack.
And to give you a little detail, this is my prestigious award from a very prestigious school, SPU Futo, and these are a couple books that I read. And until next episode, I love you, but God loves you more.